Well, so we have to look at the various online portals, and quickly we'll have to look at MyJoy Online. You have a glance through MyJoy Online. It's Kwewu readying itself for the paragliding festival, and for many of you who like patronizing Kwewu, you should know that this is the time for you to be there. And you get there, it says from Friday, April, that is today, to Sunday, April 16, the Ghana Tourism Authority will host this year's Kwewu Paragliding Festival at the mountain in Kwewu Eastern Region. And for many of you who would want to get there, please make sure that you're there, available, and then you get the best insight. You go to the main page of MyJoy Online. You get also to find out the other stories that are of interest, particularly the one talking about woman allegedly murdered by husband for infidelity. Now, if you take a look at the story, it just talks about a 48-year-old man in the grips of the law for allegedly killing his wife at Windy Ridge in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis of the Western Region. Very interesting story if you take a look at it. And if we can click the story, I think it will make interesting reading. Whilst we do that, you can always make sure that you get interactive through our pages on Facebook, join us on TV, and also watch us live as we stream on our regular channels, MyJoy Online TV, on YouTube, and also the Multi-TV World channels that we have on the internet. Please go search for them. We'll look at that story soon. It says a 48-year-old man is in the grips of the law for apparently allegedly killing his wife at Windy Ridge in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis of the Western Region. And Francis Kofi, that's his name, a private security officer, is said to have beaten his wife, Akole Clotte, to death after accusing her of infidelity. We know those are things that often happen for many of the things that we want to talk about. But let's get on to some other issues also on MyJoy Online. And you find that Nigeria's EFC, we'll get that soon, Nigeria's EFC, that's the Economic Crime Unit of equivalent of almost like Yoko or the CID kind of. That's the second story. You get to find that they seized a number of things. Okay, we seem to be having a lot of internet pop-ups. And Nigeria's EFC, let's get on to that story. Get on to the fourth one. Let's see. The fourth one, the fourth one, the fourth one, the fourth one. Click on the fourth one. Okay, let's go to the sixth one. Sixth one. And the seventh one. Eighth one. Okay. So it talks about more than 43 million US dollars apparently seized from a flat in the commercial capital of Nigeria, Lagos. I mean, we'll click on the story very soon for you to have an insight into it. But just talks about how the anti-corruption agency in Nigeria is trying as much as possible to make sure that it has great insight into the illegal activities of people in Nigeria and those individuals and entities that don't want to conform to the law and usually will be evading taxes, will be stealing from various government institutions, etc. Now, if you go to the main page, it says more than 43 million US dollars has been seized from a flat in Nigeria. And of course, there's a commercial city that we're talking about, Lagos. Officials raided the flat after a tip-off about a haggard-looking woman in dirty clothes taking bags in and out of it. Yeah, anything of such nature, such scenes would have raised suspicions all the same. And the money apparently was believed to be from unlawful activity, but no arrests have as yet been made. This is the latest in a series of raids which uncovered bundles of cash in Nigeria, Africa's largest economy. And in March, for example, the agency said they have found crispy notes worth some £130,000, but they were in dollars at the time, at the airport in northern Kaduna City. Apart from US notes worth 43.4 million US dollars, investigators found nearly 27,800 pounds. Charlie? And some about 75,000 US dollars, that is 23 million naira, at the 4-bedroom flat in Lagos affluent Ikoyi area. The EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, is said to be saying equivalent of EOCO, but they have been given a lot more power so they can go do seizures and all that. The neatly arranged cash was stashed in sealed wrappers in wardrobes and cabinets in the 7th floor flats, the EFCC seem to have indicated. Okay, so if you just want to have a bite of the story, please make sure that you visit myjoeonline.com and you have great insight into all that has happened. The story about allegedly murder by a gentleman who is accusing the wife of infidelity is also there. The incident happened in Sekeni Takra. The Chinese man found dead in a pool of blood in Sakumono. Not too good story we're hearing this Friday. It talks about media also focusing on government, not NDC Mahama. It says former President John Dramani Mahama has called on the media to focus on holding the Kufuor-led administration to account for the promises that they gave Ghanaians during the election. And those are the main stories. So now let's go up and see whether we can find some other interesting stories for us to take a look at. You all know that Monday we're going to have 100 days of change time with the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and that will be great insight for us to take a look at it. Black market dealers in Ghana's petroleum sector caused $500 million US dollar loss in 2016 alone. For those of us who grew close to Tema, we know Tema Oil Refinery, we know that a lot of underhand dealings take place in petroleum, even at the downstream level, not even at the middle or top, but even at the downstream. We have what we call the Goro boys around there who do what we call Billy. They mix diesel with other fuel, petrol. So you go and buy those, you put them in your car, Charlie. You do that a couple of times, your engines will be racking up wrongly with bad sound. So we have other stories there. But let's go to City FM Online. You go to City FM Online, interesting stories there, and if you get there, you find that it talks about how minority is expected to petition Shraj over Addison committee and the Ameri-funded Dubai trip, even though we know that the committee was set up purposefully to investigate the Ameri trip. It came out with its findings, but the minority put together a press conference and they accused the committee of perhaps some level of conflict of interest situation, because their trip to Dubai to have a fact-finding negotiated agreement with Ameri was sponsored by the former. It's a concern that the minority in parliament is raising. Now let's go to moving us won't solve tensions. Old Fadama residents fume. We'll see how that goes with that. And we know that we had some tensions there. 8 Delta Force caught raiders granted bail. And then we have a story about 3 arrested at Kotoka Airport with cocaine and heroin. Can we click the story? Have a good read of the story and see what really we can get out of this. It's on cityfmonline.com. And the story basically talks about seizure of cocaine in Kotoka. And it says operatives of NACOP, that's the Narcotics Control Board, have arrested 3 persons at the Kotoka International Airport for attempting to smuggle cocaine and heroin. And a statement from NACOP said the 3, Magugu Suraku, a Ghanaian, Maxwell Momo Golafale, a Liberian, and Daniel Njoku Agbuta, a Nigerian, were arrested on different occasions between March and April 2017. And apparently, Madugu Suraka was arrested on Wednesday, 29th of March 2017, while going through arrival formalities at the airport on his return from Nairobi, Kenya. And the suspect following his arrest confessed to swallowing 35 pellets of speedball, a combination of cocaine and heroin. And that one, Charlie, you have the feeling quick. The fix is goes into your mind quickly. And then we also have reports say Maxwell Momo Golafe, who was arrested, who is a Liberian though, arrested on Friday, 31st of March 2017, was on his way to China with 2 slabs of dried leaves suspected to be cannabis, sativa, popularly known in local parlance as weed or Igbo. That is for any of those parlances in Nigeria. And in Ghana too, you can find it as in Tampe, you know. And in some schools, the slang is popo, you know. Concealed in his luggage, the Nigerian Daniel Njoku Agbuta was arrested last Wednesday on his arrival from Brazil. where we had a 2014 World Cup. But it talks about urine test conductor confirmed that he had ingested apparently 111 pellets of cocaine. Egbuta subsequently confessed to being an ex-convict who has served some jail time in Ecuador for a similar drug offense. On Tijai, he's a jailbird. Charlie, cocaine and those money day inside. And the NACOP statement said that all 3 suspects have since been arraigned for prosecution before the court, and we'll give you further statements on this. So let's go back to the main page of City FM Online, and let's look at some of the stories there as well. It talks about Amewu orders Indian salt mining firm to stop drilling for water, and we know that Adina, that's close to Keta, in the Volta region, a resident had been raising concerns about the activities of the salt mining company, which seemed to have raised concerns, and this was aired on Joy News. I remember our reporters went there, and they did great story. And Ivy Satoji, we have to say congratulations to you for bringing this up as well. It's been taken out by other media houses, and it shows that we're doing good work at Joy News. We also have assessing MPPs 100 days, CDD slums, vigilante groups 110 ministers, big population. We're told 22 UPSA students expelled for manipulating grades, and those are the other stories we have. Okay, and let's go to the BBC if we can. Today we'll try and see whether we can get to more online portals. Scores missing as migrant boat sinks. Children are among those missing after the boat sank near the capital, Libya Coast Guard are saying. Let's get to the story. Let's read it and get great insight into how this transpired. Because if you take a look at how they're able to maneuver through the desert and get to the various areas, you get to find that they go through a lot of risk. It's a lot of risk trying to make sure that you go through the desert, which has got thugs and people who trade in humans and sometimes kidnappers on those long, tortuous journeys there. And if you find some of the difficulties that they go through, you get to wonder why people still have to go through those drudgeries just to get to Europe. I mean, you can take a visa to the UK embassy or something. It's easier. Gift and Rapia just went like that straight away. So we want to click on the story and try to have a good read of the story. It talks about migrants and fully it says at least 97 African migrants were told, including women and children, they are missing after we had great insight into reports that their boat sunk off the Libyan coast, according to a Coast Guard spokesperson. In total, we have about 23 male survivors who were rescued, who are clinging to a floating device, according to Ayub Kasem. Rescue operation so far continuing, but the chances of finding more survivors are said to be slim currently. And at least 590 of them have died or have gone missing along the Libyan coast so far this year. So sad an incident. So we'll go back to the main page, the Africa page of the BBC, and have great insight into what stories they're having, and then we'll see what we can do with the normal stories that we can find on BBC. But just in case you don't know, please, you can get interactive. Join us on TV. Please get interactive. Let's see what you want to say about what you feel, and then also let us know what you want to do as far as the current comments by those residents or those involved in Galamsey, in those Galamsey areas, as to whether they would vote the MPP government out of power if there is a ban on Galamsey. Not small-scale mining in that sense. Do you think they are right or not? Please let us know on our page. But well, right now we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more for you. Please stay on.